Hey guys, time for a new knife review. Had a lot of interest in this Balisong. This is the Bradley Kimura, and I figured it's time for a review. I had a lot of time to play with this and flip it a little bit and do more research on it. I have to say this is a very exciting new knife. It's not really new, but it's recently new. But what the biggest interest with this knife is it's actually a very good quality Balisong, but it has less than a $100 price tag on it, which is extremely appealing. I found in the last probably year or so, maybe even a little bit longer, the hobby of flipping Balisongs and the Balisong community has grown substantially, and there's a lot of new younger people that want to get into the hobby. However, the biggest problem is the lack of funds. I mean, of course, I have the Benchmade Model 42 here for a reference knife. Fantastic Balisong, hands down preferred by more people than any other model around. However, it holds about a $200 price tag. As you can see here, this is the old box. This was purchased a new gram for $143, but not recently. $143 was an older price. These used to be more affordable. But as supply and demand goes, there's currently a lot more demand, but a lot less supply. Balisongs, of course, have a legal stigma that surrounds them. There's a lot of different places that they're not allowed. They're illegal in so many places that Benchmade kind of focuses more on their folders and fixed blades than they do their Balisong models. Basically because they can sell folders a lot more places than they can Balisongs. So what happens is they're making less Balisongs, but even though there's more people getting interested in them, so therefore the prices go up. It's just simple supply and demand. But anyway, that's where this knife comes in, and it really shines. Is it fills a market. It actually allows people to buy a Balisong that's not going to fall apart on them in a couple weeks. It's actually going to last a long time, but it's less than 100 bucks. And the exact price for this one was $85. So, and that's from newgramknives.com. Of course, it's going to be about less than 100. It's going to be right up in the $100 range, a little bit less. Most places you find them, if you do an internet search for them. But that's the whole appeal, is that it's a Balisong people can actually afford, okay, or maybe even scrape up a little bit for. If you're younger, I know even $85 is a lot of money to you, but it is more affordable than the Benchmade. You can literally buy two of these before you can get one of these, so that's where all the appeal is. First, let me give you some specs on this knife while it's out here. Right now, the blade is open here. The blade is 3 7/8 inches long, and when the knife is closed, it is 5 inches long on the button. And if I put this back open here, the full length of the knife from butt end to tip is 8 7/8 inches long. So it's a little bit shorter actually than the Benchmade, but just by a touch, a tiny little hair shorter, as you can see here. Now, even though the whole knife overall is shorter, if I put the cutting edges together, you can see that they're almost spot on. The actual cutting edge of the blades are almost extremely identical. Okay, so basically what you're getting here is just a little bit shorter handles on the Bradley than the Benchmade. But in flipping it around, it really hasn't. I haven't seen too much of a difference. It's not like I feel like there's a lack of handles. It's been handling actually very well. Right out of the box, my initial impression was this was extremely smooth. It still is very smooth, but I have to say after flipping it for about a week or so, you can see here when I move the handle, it's kind of moving the blade, which means that it needs a little bit of oil here. It should move independently, okay? So it does need a little bit of oil, but not a big deal. Actually, this other handle, this is how it should move, you see here. But when I move the bite handle here, it's moving the blade, which means it's sticking just a little bit. But not a big deal. A little oil is a simple fix. But yeah, it's really smooth as butter. It really is very smooth right out of the box. I've heard some people say that it was a little bit stiff, but again, just pop a little bit of oil in the pivots there and you'll be totally fine. Overall construction is very good. Very tight tolerances here. The overall look and feel of the knife is actually very nice, especially for the price here. I do like how they put the black hardware here, which is the pivot screws and the screws to the bottom. This is a sandwich style construction, meaning that each handle is actually two separate pieces connected by a spacer. That's what these two screws are here for, to connect the spacer to the handle, as you can see there. As opposed to the Benchmade, which each handle is one solid piece that's milled out. There's a channel actually cut into it. The pro here is that it's actually going to be a little bit easier to clean this. Okay, so the cleaning is actually easier than the Benchmade. So you don't actually have to take it apart to clean most of it anyway. Looks like there's a bead blast finish on the entire knife, the blade and the handles. This knife is made here in the United States. Get my jeweler's loop in so you can see that. It's marked. So it is USA made, which is also amazing because if you're not already familiar with the whole knife industry, pretty much everything that's made in the United States costs more. Basically because, you know, the price to pay workers costs more, materials cost more. You know, minimum wage is more. That's why you see a lot of companies outsourcing, and they're getting products from different countries shipped overseas because it's so much cheaper. And as you look at the economy, that's pretty much going for every company. I mean, whenever they can, they're buying stuff from overseas so they can make more profit. But anyway, to see an all-American made product and still for this level of quality and still under $100, it's very nice. Very, very happy about that. The blade shape here is a spear point. As you can see, I will say that the tip is actually sharper or pointier rather than the Benchmade. Kind of by the design itself, the spear point blade shape is made for, you know, penetrating, stabbing. There's less resistance on this blade shape. So I will say when you flip this, guys, I mean, these are razor sharp. I actually have paper here. It's been a while since I did paper cutting tests, but I'll show you these things do come nice and sharp out of the box. So just please, you know, be careful when you're flipping these. If you need to, tape up your blade. Compare it to the Benchmade here. Oop. Nice and sharp. You know, so I'm just saying, you know, it's not a toy. These are sharp blades. If I could show you that. There we go. So it is very, very nice and sharp right out of the box here. But I have to say, you know, overall the construction is very nice. It's very close to the Benchmade. So you might be asking, you know, thinking to yourself, Jeff, well, why does this one cost twice the price? If this one's so nice, why does that cost twice the price? I can get two of these before I can get one of these. Well, the reason being is because of the materials. That's all it comes down to, really, is the materials. The Benchmade here has titanium handles and has a 154 cm blade. Top-notch stuff. Bradley, not bad at all. However, not as expensive to manufacture. You have a 410 stainless steel handles. By the way, 410 series stainless steel is used on a lot of different liners and a lot of different handles by all different companies, so very common. The blade steel here is actually not that bad at all. It's a Sandvik steel. The steel is a 13C26. But I have to say it's definitely softer than 154 cm. It's still a stainless steel, okay, so it's not going to rust as easily on you. It's going to be easy to sharpen because it's softer, but it won't hold an edge as long. That's the downside. But again, you can't get everything for the price tag. I still think this is an excellent choice, you know, they had for this knife. Also keep in mind that probably 9 out of 10 people who buy Balisongs don't buy them to actually use them. They buy them to flip around, you know, and play with. That's the whole appeal. I myself actually use a Balisong occasionally to, you know, perform cutting tasks. And that's where the Benchmade also shines, because it's not just for show and for play, it's actually a hard-working blade. So that's really the only downside to here is the materials themselves are a little bit, I don't want to say cheaper, just more affordable. But again, that reflects on the price itself of the whole knife. The pivot screws here are adjustable. I can come in close to show you here. It does take a Torx bit. I don't know what size offhand, but it's very close to the Benchmade. It's almost identical. Right? It's hard to tell just from looking at it. But overall, I have to say I really like this knife a lot. And I have to say, you know, if you don't have the money or can't get the funds to get a Benchmade, this is really your next best choice. I mean, for $85, it is an outstanding knife, both to flip and to actually use. Again, if you're going to use it, you know, you might want to touch up your sharpening skills because you will need to resharpen it. But overall, I like it a lot. One downside is it is heavier than the Benchmade, being that the Benchmade has the titanium handles. Titanium is lighter than stainless steel. I know offhand that the Benchmade, I believe, is 4.1 ounces. I think that's correct, maybe 4.2, but let me weigh the Bradley for you right now. I have a digital scale here. So let's see. I know it feels heavier let's see exactly how much. Let me just make sure I'm on ounces. Give me a second just to set this up here. Oh, actually, I apologize, but my battery just died, or it's about to die. I'm sorry, I can't give you a weight on this. I'll have to, you know what? I'll just edit it in the video, or right now, right at the bottom here, the actual weight. Okay, so it is heavier than the Benchmade Balisong. Not by too much though. You know, it could be worse. It's not, I would say, a really heavy Balisong in general. If you guys out there have the Jaguar Classics or the Bear and Son Balisongs, I would say it's about on par with them, weight-wise. But as far as build quality, totally exceeds it, for sure. There has been rumored that this knife was actually made by Kershaw for Bradley. I say rumor, it's pretty much, I wouldn't say set in stone because I haven't actually read it from a Bradley representative or, you know, on their site or anything like that. But every single source I've talked to said that Kershaw is making this for Bradley. So basically, even though it says Bradley Cutlery on it, basically it's a Kershaw Balisong. I know for a fact that Bradley's other models, the old Balisong called the Mayhem, that it was actually made by Benchmade for them, as well as their Elias folders. The Elias 1 and Elias 2 were also made by Benchmade. So I would say that the rumor that this is made by Kershaw is probably accurate, especially because of the fact that it is marked USA on the back, which Kershaw loves to do on all their USA-made knives. Let me give you some specs on this. I already told you the handles are made out of a 410 stainless steel. The blade, I already told you, is made out of 13C26 Sandvik stainless steel. However, I didn't give you any measurements. The full length from very tip to the bottom is 8 7/8 inches long. The blade itself is 3 7/8 inches long, and the handle closed is exactly 5 inches. It does have a manual latch on it as opposed to spring latch that the Benchmade has. However, I've seen people actually modify this into spring latch, but I don't know how to do that. So, you know, maybe I'll look into it, but for now I have no idea how to do it. Having a manual latch is really not a big deal at all. The knife does lock very solid, closed. It ain't budging whatsoever. And of course, when the knife is open, it locks as well, and extremely sturdy. Once this is open, this is, you know, almost as strong as a fixed blade. There's no way, you know, it's going to fold on you or fail. It's just not going to happen. And there's no slop at all, no blade play whatsoever, extremely tight lockup. So, overall, I really like this knife a lot. I'm telling you guys, you won't be disappointed. Like I said, if you're in the market for a Balisong, but you really just can't shell out the money for the Benchmade, you know, or maybe even the Spyderco, this is definitely a great, you know, compromise. I definitely see this lasting a very long time, many years to come. Simple maintenance, you know, just lubing the pivots a little bit when, you know, they get kind of tight, and, you know, just cleaning it. It should last a very long time. So, definitely recommended by myself. Definitely fills a much needed market, which is a more affordable but better quality Balisong. That is the Bradley Kimura. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate your time as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.